In Barbados, if you ask someone to name a famous tennis player, it's unlikely they'd answer with stars like Roger, Rafa, or Serena.
Well, I would say I'm a little bit of a celebrity, yes. Where I go certain places, people recognize me.
Girls normally look up to me in the island. They would tell me, well, one day they would like to become like me.
Instead, you might hear a few names that haven't been echoed throughout Labour and Nash. Tennis players who dominate the streets. Well, actually, the roads of Barbados.
My name is Mark Venom Griffith, and I'm the #1 men's road tennis champion in the world.
My name is Sheldon Warren, better known as Babyface Assassin, the #1 female player in road tennis in the world.
Well, you're one of the most famous spots when it comes to road tennis. You're at the sauna. This is our indoor facility for road tennis. As you can see, sometimes it gets really hot because the heat that's generated on the court.
An alternative to traditional tennis or lawn tennis, road tennis is a vibrant staple of the Bayesian sporting culture. Its inception, a response to socio-economic inequality on the land.
Road tennis was born in the 30s as a means of getting to play tennis because the locals cannot afford to play the traditional lawn tennis. Remember, we were under the British rule, so we were colonized. Traditional tennis would have been a privileged sport. Back then, we didn't have the paint, so the legend said that they marked out the court with a chalk rod. They would have used just a piece of wood to call it the net and use piece of wood to use as the racket. You can find a road tennis court in every community in Barbados. We have them in basically your streets. You'll be driving past and you're like, there's a road tennis here, that's people playing road tennis.
I would explain road tennis as a similar version to lawn tennis, but it's much smaller.
The dimensions of the court is 21 by 10 feet. The height of the net is 8 inches by 12.
Yes, use the same scoring as table tennis.
Each body serve 5, and the first person to turn 1 gets the ring.
Road tennis is our only indigenous sport. So we have courts now that are covering the whole island. I would say there are thousands of persons who are currently playing road tennis on island. This year we had a major competition, which was the Road Tennis Open. Prize money would have reached at least $10,000. I can tell you that we are attracting in excess of 100 persons per competition.
With road tennis now a burgeoning sport across the island, leadership has its sights set on a much grander stage.
A couple of African nations who would have expressed an interest in having it in their country. We're in the process of training coaches that we can export. We have interest from the European Union. Government cannot do it alone. So we are asking the private sector to come on board. The end goal is to see if we can have it as an Olympic sport.
Maybe a little love from some of those other tennis names and faces could be of help.
Of course, I watch the other formats of tennis, like the lawn tennis. My favorite player is Djokovic.
One of my favorite players is Serena.
Do you think that you could take her on a road tennis court?
A road tennis, sure, but not lawn tennis.
Of course I could take them on a road tennis court. Not in lawn tennis, but for sure, definitely in road tennis.